My name is Emily, and I didn't want to move. Not because I was scared or superstitious. I just didn't feel ready. My husband Ryan talked about the house like it was a finish line. Like once we moved in, everything else would finally fall into place. We'd been married 6 years. No kids. Both working. Renting had started to feel temporary in a way that made us restless. The house was in a quiet suburb outside a mid-sized city. Tree-lined streets, basketball hoops in driveways, lawns trimmed too carefully. Even the air felt controlled, like nothing was allowed to grow wild there. Nothing about it stood out. That's why we chose it. It looked like the kind of place you stopped noticing after a while. The first week was normal. Boxes everywhere. Pizza on paper plates. Arguments about furniture. We slept on a mattress on the floor and joked about how temporary everything felt. The house felt neutral. Almost too neutral. There was no smell, no creak, no defining sound that marked it as lived in. I work from home. Ryan doesn't. That meant I learned the house before he did. I memorized how the light shifted throughout the day, which floorboards were quiet, which weren't. The first thing I noticed was movement in the hallway. Fast, low, peripheral. It always happened when I was focused on something else. Email, dishes, laundry. When I looked directly, there was nothing there. The hallway stayed empty longer than it should have. It happened again the next day, and the day after that. I told myself it was light, or fatigue, or my eyes adjusting. I didn't tell Ryan. I didn't want to be the first one to give the house a personality. A few nights later, I woke with the certainty that someone was standing beside the bed. My body reacted before my thoughts did. I didn't open my eyes. The feeling wasn't visual. It was physical. Like the air had weight. By morning, it was easy to call it a dream. Daylight flattened everything into reason. About a week later, Ryan came home early, earlier than he ever did. We talked briefly, nothing important. The kind of conversation you forget as soon as it ends. He said he was going upstairs. I never heard the shower start. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. Ryan was standing outside, confused. Jacket still on, his keys were still in his hand. I asked when he got home. He said he hadn't yet. We stared at each other, both waiting for the other to correct the moment. The bathroom upstairs was dry, cold, no steam, no lingering warmth. That was when the house stopped feeling neutral. Something had crossed a line it couldn't uncross. After that, patterns formed. They repeated often enough to feel deliberate. The TV turned on by itself late at night. Same static channel. The sound was low, but it carried. Ryan unplugged it. It turned on anyway. The screen lit the room without permission. Sometimes the couch cushions were indented, like someone had just stood up. The fabric slowly rose back into place. Ryan stared at them longer than he needed to. Neither of us commented on it. 2 nights later, the doorbell rang again. The sound felt closer this time. I was upstairs. Ryan was showering. I could hear the water. It was steady. Normal. I opened the door. I didn't hesitate. I don't know why. Ryan stood there. Same clothes, same posture. He looked like he was waiting to be invited in. He didn't speak. His mouth didn't even move. Behind me, upstairs, the shower shut off. The silence hit all at once. I slammed the door and ran. My feet barely touched the floor. Ryan was coming down the stairs, towel around his waist, confusion written across his face. Water dripped onto the carpet. After that, the house stopped pretending. There was no pacing anymore, no restraint. Doors opened after we closed them. Lights switched off while we were still in the room. When Ryan was home, things happened to me. When I was alone, things sounded like him. Footsteps, breathing, his voice saying my name from the wrong place. One night, the TV turned on again. The room filled with that dull, flickering glow. In the reflection, the couch wasn't empty. Not figures, not faces. Just the sense that the room had already decided it was occupied. Ryan grabbed my hand. "We're leaving," he said. There was no debate in his voice. Not tomorrow. Now, we packed nothing, stayed with family, sold the house quietly. We didn't ask questions we didn't want answered. The new owners never complained. The listing photos showed it exactly as it had been. Sometimes, when Ryan comes home late, I still hesitate before opening the door. I listen longer than I should, because the house didn't try to scare us. It tried to act like us.